Hi guys, welcome to another Friday here on Winnie's Corner. As you can see, I'm alone today. Amy couldn't make it, and most of our guests couldn't make it. So I'm here to talk about love. This is a very special topic. It's actually a very broad topic, but today I'm specific. I'm focusing on, is love enough to make a relationship or a marriage work? Is love enough to make that your relationship or that your marriage love work? Sorry. So that is what I'll be discussing today. And my desire is that by the time this life comes to an end, we must have learned something because this is a place for all of us to learn and grow. And I sincerely pray that through this platform, marriages around the world will become more healthier and they are going to reveal, what marriage should be, especially from the Christian perspective. And I also pray that relationships as well is going to be seen in a different light through this platform. So I'm excited once again to be here. And I just want to say before I start that if you have something to add or if you have a question why I'll be discussing this topic, please, we have the comment section. I will be excited if you can join me, you know, through this whole discussion. If you can give me your point of view and if you can ask a question if you do have. So so let's get into the topic of today, which is you can see written on the screen, is love enough to make a relationship or marriage work? Is it enough? This is like a popular, question for everyone. You need to ask yourself this question. If I love this person, is love enough? So yes, is love enough? I'm just waiting for people to come in, so that, I don't keep talking to myself. I'm just waiting for people to come in. But I think I should just like go straight to the discussion of today. Is love enough to make a relationship or marriage work? I'm going to start by saying that when you see people ending a relationship or a marriage, it's not because they didn't love each other. If you ask if you ask most people who are divorced, they will tell you that, well, I still love my husband. I watch a lot of videos about relationship and marriage and counseling, because that's what I'm just excited about. When I hear marriage and relationship, it just gets me excited. So I watch a lot of videos, and most times, what you will see there, especially in a situation where people are divorcing, what you will see there is that you can see that these two people seated on this table about to sign a divorce paper still have love for each other. You can see the way they are relating. You can see how they look at each other. You can feel the passion. You can feel the chemistry. But they are on a divorce paper, sorry, on a divorce office, in a divorce office, trying to sign a divorce paper to dissolve the marriage. So this is actually something that, I've been thinking about. It's love enough. And with the way things have been going, with a lot of marriages falling apart, we can clearly see that love is not enough. Love is necessary, but love is not enough. So if you're joining me and oh, if you're joining me, please make sure you say hi in the comment section. Please say hi in the comment section and please interact. And if you have a question, please uh, write in the comment section, and I will do well to you know to answer it. And if you have something to add to this topic, the comment section is also available. So what was I saying? So I was talking about seeing people in a divorce office expressing so much passion for each other, so much emotion, so much love. You can see how connected they are to each other. Some of them still hold hands, while signing a divorce paper, and you're like, what's going on? And that's because love alone is not enough to sustain a relationship. The marriage institution, let me even start with relationship. When you are in a relationship, if you say you love someone, that is not enough reason for you to be in that relationship. It should be more than that. And now let's talk about the marriage institution. The marriage institution is not an institution that is governed by feelings or emotions. It's not an institution that is governed by the way I feel, my emotions. Why? Because emotions are temporary. Emotions do not last. You know, so in order for that institution to be stable, to be sustainable, it needs something more. So we cannot say that just loving someone is enough in a marriage. We cannot say that loving someone is enough in the marriage. And the fact that you love someone doesn't mean that they are the right person for you, or the person is the right person for you. So that's what I'm trying to establish here. I'm trying to build a foundation before we get into the details. Like I said before, the marriage institution is not an institution that is governed by emotions and feelings. If you are in a relationship about to get married and all you have is the feelings towards this person, this in the long run, you'll find out you will be in that marriage for the sake of being in it without being happy, or you will have to leave. You have only two options. If the only thing that you have in that relationship right now is just the feelings you have for that person, that's what you're depending on, then there is a great possibility that you either get into that marriage and just be so unhappy and so unfulfilled, or you just decide to leave. So which means the marriage will definitely end in a divorce. So we need to be careful when we're in a relationship. We need to make sure that we are not only focusing on those feelings. Do not focus on those feelings. If you are thinking of marriage, that is not all that you need in order for that marriage to work. It's not only the feeling that you need in order for your marriage to work. Don't focus on it. There is much more. There is much more. I want to read. I want to read Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7. It says, "Wisdom is profitable. Get wisdom, and in getting wisdom, get understanding." It did not say that wisdom is profitable. Get love. Wisdom is profitable. Get wisdom, and in getting wisdom, gain understanding. To gain wisdom is through knowledge. So you need knowledge to sustain a marriage. You need to know in order to sustain a marriage. I have a comment that came in Proverbs. Oh, yeah. Elvis Sham says, Proverbs 14:1, the wise woman builds her home, but with her own hands the foolish one tears her down. Exactly. So we need knowledge in order to be able to have a successful marriage and to make our marriage work. You need knowledge. You cannot just rely on your feelings. You cannot just rely on your emotions. You just get into marriage. All you have to give is the way I feel. You don't have any other thing to give. It won't work. And that's why we find many people in relationships where they are being treated anyhow, or they treat people anyhow. It's vice versa. And all they can say is, I love him. But they think that that's what will make their marriage to work because they love him. The fact that I've mentioned before, that the fact that people go to divorce office still in love, still holding hands, it's a proof that it's not whether you love him or not. Marriage is deeper than that. Marriage is an institution governed with wisdom, understanding, governed by decisions, governed by right choices. That's what the marriage institution is all about. When you get married for a while, you will see that your feelings don't really matter. Not that you will not feel love. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that when you are in marriage, you will see that the feeling of love it's deceitful, because true love is a love of decision. True love is the God kind of love. True love is the way is the love that is unconditional. And a love that's unconditional is not based on your feeling. It's not based on your emotions. It's based on a decision. God has loved us because He decided on His own to love us, no matter what. There is nothing that you will ever do that is going to cause God to stop loving you. So God is the expression of what true love is. And in this time, most of us do not understand what true love is. We think love is just what we feel. When you get into marriage, you will see that in order for your marriage to be sustained, it needs the God kind of love. The love that is only God that can teach you. So but let's focus on is love enough? Love is not enough. Because I said before that you need understanding, you need knowledge, you need the ability to make the right decisions, you need wisdom. So the fact that you love someone doesn't mean that you should marry them. You need to open your eyes and see more things. Like, what more can they offer other than the feelings? Because those feelings, they will last just a short while, you know. Oh, Amy is here. Welcome, Amy. Amy says wisdom is very important. Love is not enough. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, wisdom is important in marriage. Remember, I mentioned Proverbs 4 verse 7 that says that wisdom is profitable. Get wisdom. But in getting wisdom, get understanding. In order for your marriage to be lasting, in order for your marriage to work, when we talk about marriage working, it means you are enjoying it. You are enjoying it. In order for it to be enjoyable, in order for it to work, in order for it to portray its purpose, you need more than feelings, you know. So you need the understanding or the ability to be able to communicate, not only communicate, but communicate effectively and appropriately. That's the first thing I'm going to mention. You need the ability. One thing I've discovered is that most of us married people, we do not dedicate time to learn things for the sake of our marriage. We can dedicate time to learn things to get a job. We can dedicate time to learn things, to learn different new things. Like maybe you can learn how to cook. You can learn how to bake cake. You can learn something that you just want to enjoy, something that you just want to do. But how much time do you take to learn things for the sake of your marriage? We do not do that because we feel like we just let marriage just be. We feel like marriage will just be. We are married. It should just be. Listen, marriage is marriage doesn't come with anything. When you get married, there is nothing you receive. Marriage is what you give to. Like, I don't know, the English I'm speaking, I don't know if it comes out well, but I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. Like, when you get married, in the day you're getting married, let me take this example. Marriage is an empty box, and whatever you put inside of it, that's what you get. So if you don't have if you don't have anything to offer, then your marriage will not be able to work, because you don't have any. Marriage is not something that you are your marriage. You are the person that makes your marriage be. Who you are is what your marriage will be. So we cannot focus on feelings that do not even last a while. Feelings that you love someone and after 1 week you hate the person. Love and hate has a very thin line. A very thin line. Like, it's very easy to hate someone that you love. So you cannot count on those feelings that change in a second. You cannot count on it in order for you to stay in a marriage and be successful. You cannot count on it. So we need to be able to invest in ourselves. You need to learn skills. You need need more than love. You need skills. You need the skill to be able to communicate. You should ask yourself, if you are a young girl or young boy that's about to get married, ask yourself, do I have the ability to communicate? That's what you need to ask yourself. How well can I communicate? Because we don't even know what communication is. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about communication in marriage. I didn't know what communication is. We need to learn. I had to read articles. I had to read books. I had to read how do I communicate as a woman. I had to read these things. I had to, because if you don't invest time in learning skills, then you are giving the opportunity for anything to happen in your marriage. You need to learn the skill of communication. How do I communicate with my spouse? How do I address situations? How do I portray my feelings? How do I portray this particular energy I have? So it's important. So that's what will make your marriage work. Because you will always have issues to talk about in the marriage. If you don't know how to talk about it, then how is it going to work? Where would the point of agreement be if you don't know how to talk about it? Okay, so think about it. You have someone that you love. Maybe you're a man or a woman. You have a husband. Sorry, maybe in a relationship, you have a girlfriend, a boyfriend that you say you love, right? And they don't even know how to talk to you. Or whenever they are angry, they just maybe they storm out. They don't know how to really sit and communicate. You are in love with someone that whenever they are angry, they need to do something drastic. But is it that they don't love you? It's because they've not mastered the skill of communication. And how can it work? How can you guys bond? How can you guys really, enjoy each other if you cannot appropriately communicate? I'm not saying that, you cannot have miscommunication. That's different. But at least we should learn how to communicate. It's a skill that is needed. It's not a skill that we're supposed to take for granted. So when we get married, marriage is one of those things that when people get married, they just go and rest. Even the things that they used to try to learn, even before the marriage, they stop learning because they feel like, oh, I've arrived. You haven't arrived. This is just the beginning. You are still entering. And you need to be able to sustain yourself in the sense that you need to be able to express yourself, to be you, to be able to be understood. You need to be able to how can I put it? I'm looking for a word. You need to be able to just be yourself, and at the same time accept the other person in that relationship without a lot of up and downs. So I hope you guys are getting what I'm about to say. I hope you guys are getting what I'm trying to express, that love alone is a feeling and it's an emotion, and it's not enough to sustain a marriage. That's just the long and short. And you need, the first skill I've mentioned is you need the skill of communication. You need to be able to communicate. I have a message from Elvis. It says, most of us think because we can talk, we can communicate effectively. That's true. Especially women. You think because you blah, 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 you can communicate. Talking is not the definition of communication, please. This guy. People say communication is the key, but communication can be the source and solutions to your problem. It's a double-edged sword. It's the how to communicate that matters. Exactly. How to communicate that matters. It's not about just talking. Most times women will say, oh, I've spoken to my husband. How did you speak to your husband? Did you just blab, 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 or you really were able to really communicate? It's not a matter of talking like Elvis is saying, yeah, but it's the ability to make sure you're heard. That's what communication is all about. Yeah, so we need the skill of communication. You need to be able to communicate effectively. In order for your marriage to succeed, in order for your marriage to work, you need to be able to control your emotions. especially for us women, that everything to us is emotional. Everything to us is directed to our emotions. You need to be able to control yourself, especially when you are angry, especially when your needs are not being met. You need to be able to control yourself. You need to master you. You need to master your emotions. Like, you need to know when you're angry and you say, oh, because I'm angry, I will not talk. That is a skill. The skill to master your anger, to master the emotion of anger. You know that you're angry, and that is a time that you want to talk. You are not wise. You as a woman, you know your husband is angry, and that's the time that you want to say everything in your mind. That's not wise, and you're not skillful. You're not applying wisdom, and you're not applying understanding. So it's not because you don't love, or it's not because he doesn't love you, but you have to have the ability to apply understanding and wisdom in situations. When you are angry, you need to know how to hold yourself back. You know, so I've listened to some men say that when they're angry, they take a walk. And I think most times that's wise. You know, this is different from men who don't want to talk and they just go. They go, some go, they don't even come back that day. I'm talking about like men when they're angry, they know that at that time they stay in that situation, they might do something that doesn't portray who they are. You know, they just open the door and they leave so that places can go. It's important that when you're angry, you give some space. Don't make decisions when you're angry. There is no decision that is made out of anger that is good. So you want to master your angry emotion when you are angry. You need to know how to do it. If you say I can't, you if you say I can't, it means you are not willing to. Wherever there is a will, there is a way. Some people say, "Oh, I'm just an angry person. I just get angry." That cannot work for marriage. You cannot just get angry and do anything and you say it's okay, that's who I am. That's not who you are. And the fact that you've accepted the fact that that's who you are, you will never work on it, because change comes first with acceptance. When you accept that, oh, I have this inability, or I have this weakness in this area, then that acceptance alone is the beginning of being able to work on that thing. So that's not who you are. You need to apply wisdom. You need to apply understanding. You need to make the right choices. That's what sustains. That's what will make your marriage work. The emotions you feel, the passion you feel for someone, you can have all the love and passion you want to have, but if you do not have certain skills, my sister, that your marriage will be a marriage where you will just be unhappy all through, or you will just end up just going for a divorce. In order for your marriage to succeed, or in order for your marriage to work, you need to be able to have the skill to manage disagreement. There are most couples that, when if their spouse disagree with them, there is problem, there is issue. You don't expect your husband or your wife to agree with everything you say. You don't expect him to say you don't expect him to say yes ma to everything you say. You don't expect her to say yes sir to everything you say. There must be disagreements, because you guys are coming from two different, you know, backgrounds, two different sometimes two different cultures, and there will be disagreements. If anybody's telling you that, oh, I've been married to this person for 10 years and we've never disagreed, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. There's something wrong there, because no two people are the same. So there will always be disagreement. How do I handle disagreement? If you are still in a relationship phase, ask yourself, how would I handle disagreements in my marriage? And then you learn the skill, you master it, because it's not going to come easily. Because when people find out that you disagree with them, they get uh, defensive. They get very defensive. So you need to master that. When your husband or your wife, in this case, is disagreeing with you, you don't have to take it a personal. You need to know that they have a mind of their own and they have the right to express what they think. So the ability to handle disagreement is an important skill you need in order for your marriage to work. Elvis says, a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver. Oh, that's Proverbs 25:11. That sounds good. A word fitly spoken. Yeah, so how to do it? I think that one is related to the communication point I was mentioning before. Yeah, so you need the skill of being able to handle disagreements. Another skill that you need is the ability to know what your role is. I think this point is important because you can love someone, but you don't even know what your role is in that relationship. You can be in a marriage and you don't even know what your role is. What is your role as a husband? What is your role as a wife? You know. So knowing your role and knowing what you are called to do in that marriage will make your marriage to work, which means you have an understanding of what exactly you are supposed to do. When you know what you're supposed to do, there will be no up and down here and there. So you need to ask yourself, in this relationship or in this marriage, what is my role? Because we have roles only after we are married. I don't think you have roles towards someone if you are not married. Many people do it, but I don't think it's correct. So it's only roles are applied only in marriage. So you need to know your role. You need to know what you are called to do in that marriage. When you know what you are called to do in that marriage, then it's all about an assignment. It's all about a responsibility. And it's not all about emotions. It's not only about emotions. Emotions are important, like I've said, but that's not what will make your marriage work. There are times that you're not going to feel love towards your spouse. There are times that you're not going to feel this passion towards your spouse. There are times that you're not going to feel this energy towards your spouse. So what do you do in those times? And what most people do is that they say, I fell out of love. And then they go and sign divorce papers. So you think the next person you will meet, you will not fall out of love with? The problem is not the person. The problem is you've not understood what love in marriage is. And you've not understood that it takes more than the feeling to make a marriage work. So I've mentioned the ability to be skilled in communication, to be skilled in handling disagreement, to know what your role is in that marriage. And another skill that you are supposed to know is not really a skill, but we need to learn how to respect. I see people who love people and still disrespected and still disrespected and still disrespect them. They love people and then they still talk to them anyhow, treat them anyhow. It's not that they don't love them, they don't love the person, but it's because they haven't learned how to respect that person in the way they talk to them, in the way they address them, in the way they do things. So you need to learn how to respect. And one thing in marriage is familiarity. Familiarity can step in most marriages. Familiarity is when you feel like it's when you know somebody until you start taking them for granted. We need to avoid familiarity in marriage because the familiarity can cause you to start doing things that you're not supposed to do in your marriage, and you start causing trouble in your marriage. Don't allow familiarity to take over. Oh, I know my wife so well, and you just relax. You don't get up and take responsibilities. You don't get up and do the things you're supposed to do. You don't give your husband the respect, and likewise the wife doesn't give the husband the respect. The husband doesn't give the wife the respect because they have become too familiar with each other. So in order for your marriage to work, you need more than just those feelings of passion. Yeah, people say, I have butterfly in my stomach. Butterfly, okay. All right. Elvis says, even the way we react emotionally is often based on our default mode or socialization. You can be intentional. Exactly. You can be intentional in the way you react. You can be intentional, and you need to, you can be, you have to be intentional in marriage. There is a lot of intentions or choices that has to be intentional in marriage in order for it to work. So don't just end with I love him, I love him, I love him, I love him, I love her, I love her. People know that this person has bad character. This person, they are too selfish. And then they stay there and say, I love him, I love him. Then after like 2 years in the marriage, they say, I can't do this anymore. Didn't you know before? Now you can see that it's not about love, right? Oh my goodness. Oh God. So what I'm trying to say here is that in order for your marriage to work, you cannot just rely on your emotions. You cannot just rely on your feelings. And you say, oh, I love him. You take a deep breath and then you relax. Even after your marriage, you relax. We never stop learning. Marriage is a school of continuous learning. You need to know how to apply knowledge. You need to be able to understand how to apply knowledge. And in order to know how to apply knowledge, you need to even get the knowledge in the first place. Now, in this time where we live in, ignorance is a choice. Ignorance is a choice. In this time where we live, ignorance is a choice. Because there are a lot of resources that you can maximize and improve yourself and know things. If you think that your weakness in that marriage is your inability to control your anger, why don't you go and read books on how to control your anger? If you think that your weakness in that marriage is your inability to disagree, why don't you go and read and find out information about how to disagree appropriately? Because those are the things that will make your marriage work. It's not about how you feel. Because you get a one money, you feel so much love towards your spouse, and the next day you don't feel anything. So what are you going to do on the days that you don't feel anything? So it's not about the feelings, my dear brothers and sisters. I'm talking as if we're in church. It's not about the feelings. It's about skills and the application of that skill. It's about choices. It's about making the right choices. It's about decision. Even the love in marriage is going to end up being a decision. The love that sustains marriage is the love based on decision, the God kind of love. Obviously, research shows that, let me put it here. Research shows that the relationship between research shows that there is a relationship between the way we react emotionally in different situations, even the way we communicate, with the way our parents used to communicate and react emotionally. Yeah, exactly. The research has shown that there is a relationship between the way we react emotionally and the way we communicate. So when you learn how to take control of your emotions, then you will learn how to communicate because there is a relationship with that. So in order for your marriage to work, you need to be able to know who you are. Who are you? You need to be able to know that what makes you you is not the choices, it's not some of the weaknesses you have. What makes you you is who you are in Christ. When you understand your Christ identity, therefore you have issues of low self-esteem taken care of. Most people have low self-esteem in marriage because they don't know who they are. When they make a mistake in marriage, they think, oh, that's what defines them. Anything they do in marriage, they think, oh, that's what defines me. You are not what you do. You are who God is. You are what God is. You have the nature of God within you. That's what I'm trying to say. God has given you his nature. And his spirit has become one with your spirit. And you know the real us is a spirit. So that's not who you are. Those are your actions. So knowing who you are knowing that you are loved, knowing that you are accepted by God, no matter what, it's going to give you the right mind. It's going to build up your self-esteem. It's going to build up your confidence. We need self-esteem and confidence in marriage. Some people are even saying that I love someone. You even love someone because you have low self-esteem. The reason why you're saying that, oh, I love him, is because you have low self-esteem. Because if you really have healthy self-esteem, you will know that this person is not the kind of person that I can get into this with. So marriage cannot be sustained by love. Sorry, marriage cannot be sustained alone by the feelings of love. It cannot be sustained alone by the emotions that you feel towards your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or fiance or whatever the situation is. There should be more. You should be able to communicate. You should be able to express yourself effectively. You should be able to disagree effectively. You should be able to agree to disagree. That's what most people say, that we agree to disagree. You should be able to know who you are. You should be able to know how to respect each other. You should be able to know what your role is in that marriage. So there are many things that you need in order for your marriage to be sustained. And another thing that I need to mention is that in order for your marriage to be sustained, you need to know how to maintain trust. Because most people say that to maintain trust in marriage needs skills. You need to know how to. In marriage, it's not about love. It's about the how to. It's about the application of wisdom. It's about the application of understanding. How do I maintain trust in my marriage? You cannot say I want my marriage to work, and then you go ahead and do some things that are fishy. You go ahead and maybe start having calls in the night, and you are not accountable to where you go to. You just go, you don't explain where you are, you just like do some things that are fishy. You need to know how to keep the trust in your marriage. It takes wisdom to keep trust. Because one thing with trust is that once broken, it's not that it's unrepairable. I don't know if the English is correct, but it's that it's hard to repair. Someone gave an example that trust is like a broken egg. Trust is like an egg. Sorry. Trust is like an egg. Once broken, it cannot be put back together. But I think it can be put back together. It depends on the people involved. But we need to be able to know how to maintain trust in that marriage. You cannot just do anyhow. You cannot just act anyhow in marriage and you want your marriage to succeed. I started by giving an example. I said you should think about it. What do you think makes two people who love each other to go to a divorce court or office or to a divorce court and sign a divorce paper? But they love each other. There are some people who even get divorced and they go their separate ways and then they meet again and then they remarry because they have gone and they have worked on themselves. They have learned skills. They have learned things that they never knew before. They remarry and it becomes awesome. So it's not all about the love. If you are listening to me now and you're in a relationship, ask yourself, what I need to offer, is it only what I feel for this person? Or what he needs to give me, is it only his feelings? Someone can love you, but they are very bad in some things. They are very bad. You can love someone and they are very bad in some things. And someone can love you, but you are very bad. You are not even you are not even lovable. There are some people who are not even lovable, but they expect people to love them. There are some people who do not even love themselves, but they expect someone to come and love them for them. So there are just a lot of things involved. But the key is that in order for your marriage to work, it needs to be more than the feelings you have. And you need to want to apply wisdom. You need to want to apply understanding. In order for your marriage to work, you need to be able to have the ability to forgive. There are many people who say they love, but they are not able to forgive. How can you want your marriage to work without forgiveness? I listened to this lady some weeks back, and someone asked her. She has a YouTube channel, and they discuss uh, marriage related questions. And she was asked, if your husband, what is it that your husband would do that? Okay, no, that's not how the question came. They were talking about uh, infidelity, and it was a panel of women, and one of the women said she cannot forgive if infidelity, because it was in a context, in they gave a context where her husband cheated on her by mistake. There are actually a possibility that your husband will cheat on you, but it's not like he meant to. There are actually a lot of cases like that. There are several reasons why people cheat. It's not really because they want to. So in that situation, let's say that your husband was in a very tactical situation, and he fell, under that situation, and she said she can never forgive. Then I ask myself, what is really forgiveness? In marriage, what is really forgiveness? Because in marriage, we need to know that you have to make up your mind to forgive. And in marriage, never say never. I see a lot of people say that the husband cheated on her, she forgave her. I can never. Do you understand the situation? Did you know what happened? We are so quick to judge. We are so quick to say that I can never do this. I can never do this. You need to be able to learn how to forgive, because it doesn't come easily. To forgive, the fact that you forgive it doesn't mean that it wouldn't hurt. And when you hold on to that hurt, you will not forgive. And it's not even about infidelity. There are many other things to forgive. It's not only about, because when we talk about forgiveness, most people think about infidelity. Infidelity is not the only thing to forgive. There are many other things to be forgiven. So you need to learn how to forgive. You cannot be in marriage and you want it to work and you're holding things in your heart. It's like you have a storage box where you store everything your husband has ever done to you, or where you store everything your wife has ever done to you, and then you want your marriage to work. It cannot. So we need to learn how to forgive. We need to apply the wisdom of being forgiving towards your spouse. Some people will say they love you, but they will never forgive you. You say, I love you, but I can never forgive you for this. Have you heard about people saying that? I love him, but I will never forgive him. So where does that place the relationship? Because that thing that is in your mind, that thing that you want to use as an arrow, to be shooting him anytime he does something, it's not going to help that marriage. So where is the marriage going to? So we need to learn the skill of forgiveness. And we also need to be able to I wanted to say that you also need to be able to forgive and forget. When I say and forget, it doesn't mean that you wipe it away from your mind. You can forget by not talking about it all the time. Some people forgive, but they don't forget. It means that they always will talk about it. In the first place, why forgive and keep in your mind? It's not like and use it all the time. It means you've not forgiven. Some people say, I'll forgive, but I'll never forget. To me, I don't think that is really true forgiveness. True forgiveness is when you forgive and you don't bring it up. You don't bring it. It's not that it's not good. You're not going to think about it, but to bring it up and use it, it means you didn't forgive. It means you didn't forgive. So, in order for your marriage to work, my dear brothers and sisters, we need to learn certain skills. And the skills you will learn is according to who you're married to. Because every marriage is different. My marriage is different Somebody else's marriage is different. My spouse, because I'm different, you are different. Your husband is different. My husband is different. So the skills you have to learn is in relation to who you're married to and who you are and what you think you need. Let's not just marry and just let's not just marry and then we just allow our marriages to just be there. You don't learn anything new. You don't instill any new knowledge. You don't apply any wisdom. You don't apply any understanding. Your marriage is just there, and then you say, "Oh, uh, I love, I love him," but it's not working. It's more. It should be more than that. It should be more than that. And if in a relationship, you need to make sure that it's not only the feeling that is leading you to marry that guy. It's not only what you feel. It's not only the passion that is leading you, to want to spend the rest of your life with that guy because you'll be frustrated because those feelings, they will lie to you. They will lie to you. You get up today, you feel love, and after 1 week, you feel hate. Why do you think that uh, most husbands kill their wives? Someone they are loved before, someone that they were so attracted to, and they felt so much passion towards. Why do you think they end up killing their wife? Someone will end up killing their wife or husband. So love is not enough. The feelings of love and emotion is not enough. Remember, I'm specific. The feelings of love and emotions is not enough. That's not all you need in order to have a good marriage. That's not all you need in order for your relationship or marriage to succeed. You need the skill of communication. You need the ability to forgive. You need the ability to know what your role is. You need the skill to know how to be respectful towards your spouse. So there are just a lot of things you need to learn in order for your marriage to succeed. So I think I'm going to end here for now. Since I'm alone, I'm not going to do up to the 1 hour because if there were more people, then maybe they should have, said more things. But I think I've said the most important things, and I hope that this video, will be a blessing to someone. That if you are in a marriage and you feel like I can't do this anymore, just take a step back and ask yourself, what is it that I have been doing wrong, or what is it that I have not been doing? But remember that for a marriage to work, two people need to ask that question. Two people need to be in a place where they desire to want to see it work. When we talk about these skills, it's not only one person having the skills, it's two people. Because there need to be an exchange. There need to be an exchange. So I hope this video is going to help someone. I hope this video makes us to realize that when we talk of marriage, we are talking about wisdom. We are talking about making the right choices. We are talking about understanding. We are talking about having the ability to do things in a way that is going to make us to enjoy the marriage. Marriage can actually be enjoyed. Don't listen to people who say, "Oh, there is no good marriage." No, there are good marriages. And most good marriages involve people with skills, with wisdom, with understanding, with people who are ready to make the right decisions, with people who are ready to make the right choices. Elvis says a successful marriage begins with working on yourself, letting go of anything about you that is not beneficial and learning what is. Exactly. That is the conclusion. A successful marriage begins with working on yourself. You let go of anything about you that is not beneficial to that marriage and learning the things that will be beneficial to the marriage. That is the conclusion of this. Hey, hello, welcome. I'm so happy to see you. Thanks for sharing these great tips. Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining. I'm going to end here now. I hope I was able to, to digest the topic a little bit because it's a very broad topic. There are different aspects to this, but I was just focusing today more on you need more than love. You need more than the feelings. You need more than the emotions in order for your marriage to work. That's what I was trying to focus on today. And I hope that this video, was a blessing to someone. And I'm going to end here for today. I've already said that twice. I don't know why I keep saying it, but I'm going to end here for today. And I wish you all a great weekend. And I'm going to see you next Friday. Next Friday, I think we are going to have a guest. You know, just watch out for the guest we'll have next week, Friday. So stay blessed, and please let's know that our marriages is going to reflect Christ, especially for us Christians. Our marriages is a tool that God will use to preach His gospel. So you don't want to take it for granted. Learn, keep learning, and apply it. And let's hold on, to who we are in Christ, and know that we are not our weaknesses, but we are everything that God has made us to be in Christ Jesus. So I'm going to see you guys next week again for another live show. Thank you, and bye bye for now.